my love letter to New York City. I wanted to explore why New York is such a romantic city. It's romantic for people that live in town, and it's romantic for people that live all over the world and come for weekends or to celebrate a proposal. So for this first episode, I went to visit some friends and jewelers who are usually part of a special moment in a couple's life, a proposal, and we chatted about love, relationships, New Yorkers, jewelry.
I'll tell you what's so great about New York couples. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere.
I think that, the things that we love about New York City could probably also be the things that could test a relationship. However, I think that they're also the things that can inspire and kindle and rekindle flames in relationships.
This neighborhood is fabulous. First of all, this block right here on Atlantic between Hoyt and Bond is full of independent designers. Most stores, most of them are owned by women.
For me, just as a wearer, like rings are the things that I can leave on, and it doesn't disrupt. It depends on the ring. I mean, I have some amazing, gigantic rings, but.
A man lives in this building who has lived in this building his entire lifetime, and he has seen a complete change of the neighborhoods.
David and I are business partners. We are lovers. We are
husband
married.
And wife. Yeah.
He's my baby daddy.
Yeah.
My jewelry maker.
Her name is my muse, my best friend, my inspiration.
Well, what is so unique about finding your one true love in New York City and building a life together?
I think New York just has this vibe of exploration and finding new things and putting yourself out there and being bold. That is something I think every New Yorker feels in some way. And so there's just this endless possibilities of finding your true love.
Do you have any suggestions for a romantic spot for an important date or a proposal?
One of the very first dates I had with my wife was walking around Central Park. It's a place like no other. You've got this sense of special oasis, this place of love and mystery, but also of calm in the big city. And to spend time there and to have a romantic experience there is a very special thing.
New York is the place where people come to live their authentic lives. You can love as you want to love here in New York City. Many people leave places or situations where they feel like they can't be fully themselves and come to New York. As a result, New York sort of opens her arms, and I think that this is, the Statue of Liberty kind of stands as a beacon to people. That was her purpose, that you are welcome here. Love in all of its forms is certainly more accepted in New York because we have a lot of diversity, and inclusivity. I mean, we're not perfect. It's not a perfect city in that sense, but, it is something that I think the population here and also the legislation here and the history here, I mean, this is the city of Stonewall riots, right? All of that does lend to the fact that you can love as you want to love here in New York City.
I went online very out of character. I usually, I'm of the age where I would have waited for the man to ask me out. But I was like, I'm going to find them, I'm going to reach out to them, and I'm going to book 5 dates on an online app. And I did, and David was Monday. And I did go on Tuesday. Tuesday was a periodontist, and it was horrible. And then I did something else very out of character. When I left the periodontist after that very short date, I called David from my Palm Trio, okay? Yup. And I talked to him all the way down. I lived on the Lower East Side. I walked all the way down to the Lower East Side talking to David. And then the next day I canceled Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
See what I mean? How nothing bad could ever happen to you in a place like this.
What is your favorite romantic comedy set in New York?
I love the movie Hitch.
Give me a ring. Sometime. I mean, on the phone.
That is something I've watched like dozens and dozens of times with my husband.
I'm gonna have to go with Moonstruck.
Yes.
Well, like Cher, like young Nicolas Cage. It's all there.
Loretta Castorini, will you marry me?
Cher and Nicolas Cage, for me, it does it for me.
Yes, Ronnie, in front of all these people, I'll marry you.
My favorite romantic comedy would be Along Came Polly. So I actually think that her apartment is in Soho. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was.
Ah! Rat! Rat in the house!
Oh, no, this is Rodolfo.
I think Soho is one of the best neighborhoods in the world.
Harry came over last night.
I went over to Sally's last night.
Because I was upset that Joe was getting married.
One thing led to another.
And Harry met Sally. I love the story of two people on a journey destined to end up together, their lives crossing over as they meet and spend time together, and then re-finding each other many years in the future.
And before I knew it, we were kissing.
To make
and
a long
then
story short,
we did it.
They dated. Bell, Book, and Candle. And it's with Kim Novak and Jimmy Stewart. And it is such a romantic movie and comedy, and it is just brilliant. Kim Novak plays a witch.
You know, I think I'm allergic to your cat.
I love Elf, and I was thinking about your question and saying to myself, well, of course, Breakfast at Tiffany's, which is cliche.
Elf. You want to go
But
eat
Elf.
food? You want to go eat food?
Want to eat food?
Yeah.
Do you have any suggestions for a romantic spot for an important date or a proposal?
So I don't know if there's any one spot I would call like the perfect proposal spot in New York City. I think what New York does well are its parks and rooftops. So I could see either of those places as a really beautiful backdrop depending on the time of year.
I really love the ferry. I really love the East River Ferry. I love going under all the bridges. I feel like it's such a, such a magical mode of transportation to just have that you can, hop on any given day, and like a beautiful day on the ferry just feels like very alive.
My own personal story is really fun. My personal love story in New York is that I met my husband at Restaurant 212. After that, we dated, and then a few years later, we got engaged. I usually felt that I was not gonna marry this person. That's usually what happened, but it didn't happen with Douglas. We got engaged, and he did plan a really romantic engagement. He sat me down on the fountain in City Hall Park, and I kind of felt like water dropping on me, and I didn't know where I was, and he whipped off the blindfold, and he was on bended knee, and he said, "Will you marry me?"
Why do you think the ring stood the test of time and is still couples' favorite token to symbolize their commitment to each other?
The reason the ring is a symbol of love is because, first of all, it's an eternity symbol. It's round. It's a circular, everlasting, eternal love. And it's also a symbol of commitment that you can show to the rest of the world and let everyone know that you have a partner and you are committed.
So I was doing a little research, and historically, there was a belief that there was a vein that ran from the ring finger to the heart, and that's why they believed that the symbol of love should be worn on this finger. I don't think that ended up being true, but I think that a ring is something that we look down at our hands and see every day. So in the same way that some people need like their daily mantra or their daily reminder, even having like a watch is a reminder of keeping time and being punctual. But you look down at your hand, this is something you can see every day. If it's on your neck, if it's on your ears, you don't see it in the same way. And I just think that having that constant reminder, it's an easy visual way to remember that someone who loves you gave the ring to you.
Why are rings made in New York so popular and so valued all over the world?
So New York is known for its exceptional workshops. The quality of the jewelry that gets made here, the history of jewelry making is well over 100 years old here in New York City.
This street is the greatest street in New York City, in my opinion. It's 47th Street. It's the heart of the Diamond District. I would not have our showroom any other place. This is where our jewelry is made. On this street, engaged in the most extraordinary work, our hand engravers are in their 70s, and they are still working day to day. There are master jewelers, stone cutters. So you have people from every age, every culture, every language, and they're all here together. And it's a very special place.
Most of the stores on here are also makers. You know, I have my studio in the back of the store, and Marsha Patmos, and Patmos has her, her workshop in the back. And it's a great place to be.
Tell us about a couple of rings that were inspired by New York, or like that New Yorkers pick as an engagement ring.
With one we did recently, celebrated New York beautifully, the first movie theater they went to, the outside of their first apartment together, we hand engraved the facade.
Our clients, our New York clients especially, tend to love things that are simple and clean. With design elements that you don't necessarily notice at first look. And that's much like New York. You know, you walk around New York City and you're on the street and you're seeing all the stores and you're seeing the traffic and the people, but then it's got the chills. You take a moment and you look up, where you're not always looking, and you see things that are mind-bendingly beautiful.
I love the emerald cut for people from New York. The Art Deco nature of that style really matches to some of the great landmarks of our city, like Rockefeller Center or the Chrysler Building or the Empire State Building. These are some of the most special Art Deco landmarks in the world.
We are not a number street neighborhood. We are a name street neighborhood. And so, we sort of tried to name the rings sort of to give them a personality. So like our Mercer, which, is in Soho, which is a very fashionable area, is our knife edge pave. And it also has a hidden halo of diamonds. And so we felt like that was the perfect name for it.
My new collection is really about New York. It's a New York City themed engagement ring collection. So each ring is very different. Each ring picks up details from an iconic landmark. The challenge me drawing these rings was it kind of had to harken back to the landmarks, but it still has to be a pretty ring and not look like a building. So it was fun, challenging to try to make pretty rings out of literal architectural, what I was going off of. Here is the Rock Center, Asher Cut Center, big ice skating rink. The trapezoid halo is the plaza around it with the flags. Liberty. This is in all platinum with a white center, like a more traditional bridal materials. We love platinum for bridal.
Next episode, we are very excited because we're going to get to meet people in love and talk about their proposal and their engagement ring and why they fell in love in New York. Stay tuned.
When was the inspiration again?
It was the Brooklyn Bridge, because both of us grew up in Brooklyn, so we wanted to make sure we represent Brooklyn on the ring. So if you go in detail, you can see the Brooklyn Bridge here. That's where all the diamonds are sitting on.